My name is Ganguk Lee. I am a rising senior who's majoring in classical percussion performance in Peabody Institute of Johns Hopkins University. I was born in Busan, South Korea, and then I moved to USA when I was in around the 6th grade or so. And normally I would be having a normal middle school life and high school life until I started band. I like to describe myself as an egg because egg can be cooked in many different ways: scrambled, fried, sous vide, souffle, omelette, all those things, and they all come in different shapes. I think I'm one of those musicians where my strength is changing, shifting things, and able to bring myself into situations that I've never seen before and able to adapt to the environment fairly quick. I love cooking. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Every single time when I'm practicing, I put my AirPods in, and the first thing that I put is there's this podcast called A Taste of History that I usually listen to, and there's a bunch of culinary information that accompanies me when I'm practicing things that are like rudimentary, doesn't really need a lot of focus, like playing 16 notes over and over again. And it intrigues me how history of food came such a long way. And it kind of grew on me as like, oh, I want to cook this and cook that and understand how people made things. So I have this strange obsession of wanting to make foods that were written in how they were written. For example, I think there's something that I can think about is pasta aglio e olio. It's a very basic pasta that uses oil and garlic as a main component. Some people would love to put cheese and butter, but normally the recipe doesn't include cheese and butter. I would like to figure out the way to make pasta aglio e olio enjoyable to my tongue, my taste palates, as how people would treat many foods that they love. So I started percussion when I was a 7th grade from my middle school teacher's recommendation, since he was also a percussionist. When I started to venture in summer camps that are just more than Northwest, I went to Ganguk and Julia percussion summer seminar when I was in my sophomore year in summer, and that gave me a lot of perspective of how to play with people, or how to understand my relationship with the instrument better. And I think that was the major point that in my life where I wanted to become a percussionist. I wanted to become a psychiatrist way before I started music, because I wanted to heal people's minds. But then as the time goes by, I found myself in more music. I found myself not holding a pencil and writing papers, but holding a snare drumstick or timpani mallets, marimba sticks, shakers, whatever you can name it, for most of the time. And I guess that became the major changing point. I wanted to heal people with music. Of course, I played piano when I was young, just like every single Asian household that you can name. I started piano when I was around 4 or 5 years old, and I have played piano for 10 years, and that became very handy in how I approach percussion. Since I have a piano background, it gives me understanding of approaching things lyrical. I feel more familiar with keyboard instruments, and it gave me other benefits such as understanding chords, directions of music, and emphasizing dynamics, notes. A very useful background, I would say. I wanted to heal people's mind with music, just give them a nice listening experience when they come to my concert and they see me playing. That was it for now. But then as I collaborated people more and more, I collaborate with artists, composers, dancers, other instrumentalists, and I found myself enjoying in collaborating with people, and that's the main engine for me that it keeps me going. I want to collaborate with people. I want to make more music with the people that I adore. When I thought about band for first time, I did not have any expectations on what it was, except that my parents told me that, oh, it's like a Korean jazz band or pop band, so you should try it. So I remember it was a classical marching band that they hit America, which you very rarely see in Korea. So I sat down in my first band class, and my middle school band teacher was a percussionist, so he encouraged me to try out percussionist. So after taking a long journey, I am now where I am as a percussionist pursuing bachelor degree in Johns Hopkins. When I was in high school, I I would say I did not meet a lot of people who are in same mind as I did in terms of talking about music. When I first stepped into Peabody, I was amazed that everyone was so dedicated to music. I still remember when I was in sophomore, people host opera nights. They would basically broadcast random operas into the TV that was in our dorm lounge and just have a good time. Or some people would have jam sessions. Especially jazz people would know what I'm talking about when it comes to jam sessions. Is basically you gather people who play any instrument and they just create pieces to have fun with, or they play their own pieces. Other thing was the people in Peabody, they have a vast knowledge of music. They would know what I'm talking about in terms of, like, if I were to name various composers like Schoenberg, Lansky, all those famous well-named people, and they would understand it immediately. I think that gave me a sense of a family more than a community, because everyone was so tightly knit together in the Peabody community. If I were to take a little trip to my past memories, I remember playing not very complicated pieces, unlike other people did. If you're a percussionist, then you might know this piece. I played Rotation 2 by Eric Samet in his composition called 4 Rotations. It's a very simple piece that can produce an effect that is equal to a legendary performance, I would say. Drums, I did the Delacruz drums. I think I did Etude number 3. Timpani, I did Hawk 950. Everyone will know what I'm talking about when I mention Hawk 950 if they're percussionists. Excerpts, I remember playing Firebird for one of my excerpts. Porgy and Bess is a classic one too. Some people might play Exotic Birds. Glockenspiel, Magic Flute, Snare Drum, Scheherazade as always. Excerpts are always these tricky things that it's hard to decide on. Same goes with the repertoires. I had long talks with my teacher about what repertoire should I try out for college audition, and normally I found out that people don't look for complicated pieces that much. Like, some people would whip up Merlin, 3 Movements by Lansky, Nature Water, all those pieces, but I think the one thing that they're mainly looking for is, can you keep time? Can you understand the rhythm that's inside a piece? And can you show the musicality? All those simple stuff that they're looking for. Yeah. For myself, I believe you should pick repertoire that fits your musicality. For example, if you have pieces that you played before, I recommend putting those into the college auditions, because it reduces amount of practice they have to do, since you're learning piece that you already learned before. The one thing that I would highly recommend is meeting with the students who already did this kind of process before. For example, you might want to go to schools like Juilliard, Curtis, Eastman, all those well-known schools or maybe just a local college school. Doesn't really matter. It's about how you grew up as a musician in the school. I would recommend talking a lot with the college students who already did this kind of process and various teachers, because they know their craft. So why don't we ask them? So my audition was during a cruel COVID year where people were wearing masks, and airplane trip thing wasn't really a thing back then. So it was a gruesome experience. I still remember being angry, crying, groveling, begging myself why I am making these simple mistakes over and over again while I was recording. It was very tough, I should say, but it once in a while I will get a wonderful take, no mistakes, just flawless, and that was what made me happy. But I should say, I've seen people also do live auditions since I'm in a college, and I see people just playing and practicing. They're working really hard, and I understand that preparing for college can be a very difficult experience, but I just want to let the people know that if all the people who got into the college can do it, then so can you. Because I will come in a moment where, I have I have difficulty playing these pieces, and I would freak out occasionally. But then I think about all my mentors and all the people that I knew did the same process. And I asked them if they have any feedback about the pieces that I choose, and I constantly send my video recordings to my teacher for feedback and to see if there's anything that I can improve, because I think that if they did it, then so can me and you.
Awesome.
So, as my year's COVID year, to repeat that, when I was auditioning for colleges, most of the college did not ask me a lot of questions. I think the one memorable experience that I can think of is when I was auditioning for Peabody. The professor would play this music, and he told me to describe how it feels and just tell me about anything that I can think on top of my head. That was unique. Oh, many things. I was lost. I was scared. If I were to go back in time to my self before all this chaotic, tough college audition happened, I would say, your mentors did it. So can you. Just push along. There's nothing to fear. It's just a tough moment that everyone has once in a lifetime, and just think of it as an experience. Well, the silver lining would be that I know what it feels like to do a gruesome audition. That's the one thing, and it gave me an idea of how should I approach it, and if I were to do it next time, which is now at this moment, I would know what to do. I remember auditioning many colleges, around 10, 13 or so. I got into Peabody, Eastman, Boston Conservatory of Berkeley. So I got waitlisted. I don't remember a lot of them, but I know that I got waitlisted in Curtis and Juilliard. I chose Peabody because I knew the faculty well, and I heard many things about the community, and I heard many good things about Peabody percussion community being very family-like, and that was from the first hand experience that one of the people who went there told me, and I think that was the tipping point of why I wanted to go there. There are many memorable projects that I did in my year in Peabody. I think one of the memorable one that I did was collaborating with artists in MICA, which is short for Maryland Institute College of Arts. And then what we'll do is that we have a person who manages all this stuff, and as a role of a performer, I would receive pieces, practice them, and pack them up, pack all the gears and move that to the location. And the epic thing about collaborating with artists is that you don't hear only the music, you are merging the visual and the sound together. So it becomes like you're watching a movie. One of the pieces that I played on was a instrument with electronics and a film, and that was amazing. I still cannot believe how I achieved to do that. It was tough, I should say. There were moments where the composer would switch music like a day before, and I'll have to look at it and figure out what has been changed, all the stuff. But I gotta say, at the end of the concert, everyone was giving applause, and I think it was a memorable experience for me because it felt new, and it kind of gave me a sense of how music can be shaped not as music but as music with other component of art. Last summer, I was in Vermont for Yellow Barn. I vividly remember still about I woke up at 5:30 a.m. and my roommate was still sleeping. I would walk outside and I would see vast forest clothed in white fog, and you don't hear any car noises, just bird calls. And after I enjoy the scenery for a couple minutes, I will take shower, eat breakfast, and I will go into preparing chamber pieces with people that I love. I prepared 2 composer pieces, performed 2 percussion pieces. In a short time, it was tough, I should say. We had struggles, we had victories, but in the end, it was all memorable experience that I got to play, and it was an honor to play with the people that I met in Yellow Barn. For Peabody, I remember there is a very good resource called Peabody Launchpad, which it's kind of a wonderful source where people would search jobs and wonder if they want to try taking a shot at it. For me, I'm currently working in a paid orchestra where they put student conductors and they conduct pieces, and my role as a performer is to prepare the piece beforehand so that the conductors get an experience of how it feels like to conduct the orchestra. There are other works that people can do. For example, some of my friends are doing this job called stage crew, which is like you move chairs, you move stands and podiums, and you help them set up for the large ensemble. You can also work in library. Some of the opportunities allow you to go to the Johns Hopkins Hospital and perform music for them. There are jobs that you can do to play in the George Peabody Library, I find it amazing. There are many other jobs you can take. Some people would like to take orchestra jobs. Some people like to take Navy band jobs as they're in the Peabody. It's basically open to you, all of the jobs. It just searching for jobs is your responsibility, and the opportunities will open up to you based on the knowledge that you have about the jobs. So my primary goal right now is to continue the learning till I get a doctorate degree and become a professor. I would like to build another generation of talented performers while also using the university as my hub of communication, and slowly spread myself as a notable performer, and hopefully I'll be able to build a wonderful percussion community. 어이요.